Every job, no matter how commonplace, has its own unique set of adventures. In this 5-part series brought to you by Isuzu, we delve into the professional lives of 5 women from this automobile giant. Come again with us as Drum Magazine unveils the lives of people who work some of the more overlooked jobs in South Africa.
I oversee 2 important streams that anchor the brand in society, and so especially in South Africa. And it's ensuring that our brand strategy and our sponsorship properties communicate and speak to key pillars of Isuzu as a company. And they communicate what our audiences expect and what they love most about the brand.
And what would you say is the most difficult aspect of that role for you?
The most difficult one is balancing the brand. It's such a diverse brand. South Africa is so diverse, and obviously speaking to how diverse South Africa is, you can expect how our customers are diverse, and the brand is expected to balance all the various needs of our customers and communicate the various nuances and heritage of each customer audience. And also the history. I mean, we've got older audiences that have loved the brand since they were growing up. They've grown up with the brand. And we've got new audiences who are now coming into the brand, and they're looking for exciting, something fresh, something that speaks to, hip and happening type of society. So it's about how do we balance it to speak to and fit into and meet each customer's needs.
Okay.
That's
a tailor-made experience,
task. Yeah.
And what is it that drew you into working in the automotive industry? What is it that pulled you towards this field?
Well, I mean, I'm from Gqeberha,
Yeah.
and Eastern Cape is a hub of automotive. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've been there, you'll see the number of automotive brands that exist in the city alone, as well as the province, from automotive suppliers and the brands. So, growing up in a township called New Brighton, in an area, part of New Brighton called Fordville. But also at the time, GM, which is now Isuzu, was down the road as well. So growing up there, playing in those townships and seeing the people coming from work and going to work, and a lot of also the technical engineering schools are in that area as well.
And as far as your experiences here at Isuzu Motors, could you tell me what you'd say some of the most impactful marketing campaigns that you've led or been a part of were, and why does it those stick out to you?
Yeah, one impactful. I mean, this is something I had to think about because, like, geez, what was it? And then it just popped in my mind without, hesitation. And that was the She Is campaign, which was a branch out of She Is Driven that we ran with Art of Superwoman. And the Art of Superwoman team came with the campaign of She's Driven. But we said, okay, how can we extend this further than just this campaign? And then we branched out to do even a magazine, which was featuring women, all the women in the partners we have within sponsorships, as well as branded as a company, and as well as our customers. So one amazing feature was featuring the woman tow truck owner. So she was a fantastic woman who owned a fleet of tow trucks, and that's also very much dominated industry. So the fact that the campaign was She Is Driven, it meant that you are not allowing society to hold you back, and you will be driven in your space where you sit. There's also the woman who featured from Gqeberha who owned a line of hair care products, and she had a factory in Gqeberha where she manufactured hair care products, and that was also kind of just like a trailblazer type of moment, saying that you're manufacturing this within the city. And then within the She Is Driven campaign with Artist Superwoman, they also covered women in different spaces as well, and they did very extreme type of activities just to say nothing, just to show that nothing really holds us back as women. If we want to conquer something, we will. And that was a very impactful campaign.
I like that. It's quite a witty bit of copy. I mean, She's Driven. How involved were you in the formulation of that initial idea?
I wasn't as involved, but how it extended, I was very involved. So even we even took it further to advertising. So that whole month we only advertised with females in the adverts, from digital to print to everything.
So it was all encompassing, and as far as women empowerment. Wow. And that's obviously something that's near and dear to your heart, I can tell by just speaking to you. All right. I wanted to circle back around rather to empowerment in this industry, what would you say are some of the steps that have affirmed or cemented transformation in this industry? What have you seen, especially at Isuzu, that is contributing towards there being more talented and gifted Black women in a space such as this?
I think Isuzu took a very risky but also bold step towards what their goal was. And a lot in the industry, you know, people always speak about transformation and they sing from the top of the roof about transformation, but they don't actually, you know, implement it internally.
Or just lip service.
Yeah, and even from supplier base down to employees, down to our partners, Isuzu has taken those bold steps to say we are not just going to be lip servicing it. We're not just going to talk about it but not action it. And that was probably the start with our CEO who came in, Billy Tom. And then from then on, it was just a knock-on effect to say if we're going to say it, we best do it, you know. If we're going to speak to it, we best walk the talk, you know. And just also everything that, I mean, Isuzu has always done to support and grow talent in general. I started as a graduate, in training, and look where I am now. So it's only testament to how the company is invested to grow its people. But it's also about you also taking on your growth as yourself, as your own, and not expecting the company, as some people will say, to grow you.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of opportunities people have in networking internally, and it's not about just sitting back and thinking that executive is going to come talk to you, but also you finding the opportunity to go talk to that executive, because there's meetings, there's social gatherings, and it's about you also showing yourself.
And I'm sure a whole string of soft skills or things you learned on the job that are now, you know, a part of your arsenal professionally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, the graduate program benefited me that immensely. One course that I always ask about with every new graduate program that starts up, or new interns or employees, is are they going to learn emotional intelligence? Because that was an eye-opener for me.
And then, like, not a difficult, I mean, it's a rather difficult stream of intellect to grasp, you know?
Yeah. And that absolutely opened my eyes to realize that sometimes we're victims of emotional hijacking, and you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of yourself. You need to be aware where you are as a person that specific day. And also just how to conduct yourself. And you'll only just be a powerhouse once you're aware of self.
Absolutely. Wow. And just in closing, rather personally speaking now, in the next maybe 5 to 10 year span, where do you see yourself, ma'am? What do you see happening in your career? Are you still going to be at Isuzu? I assume so. You look cozy here. But what do you see on the cards or in the stars for yourself?
Yeah. I used to be such a 5-year, 10-year plan person.
What happened?
My boss saw better lights for me that I never envisioned for myself. And that kind of forced me to say, okay, you know what, sometimes you got to wing it, and sometimes you've got to trust the process. Sometimes you get dropped in the deep ocean, you're like, what the hell am I doing here? I mean, I can't even swim, but you learn so much about yourself that you never expected you would learn, or even you was within you.
Nothing like a baptism of fire,
So where I'm at now, I mean, I'm in a pretty good place with my career.
It's good to hear.
And my hopes is also to further the digital direction, digital business, digital marketing, digital everything, because that's where the business is going. It's identifying solutions that will support the company better, but also solutions that will also position Isuzu South Africa, you know, with against its competitors or even its partners across the world.
Well said. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sure you have many lavish things that jacket would suggest that today is about to be a lavish day. I'm not certain, but
well, I had coffee, so yes.
Yeah, it's always a good start. But thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.